On episode 87, we're talking about personal brands in dentistry and how that space is wide open. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to the 88 Show. This is the internet's only dental show where we talk about what matters most in marketing. That is why we're here. It is a Monday morning here in April, the Studio 88 offices with the team behind me. Fun fact, Joe's birthday today. Happy birthday, Joe. Actually, not today, it was Friday, but we're celebrating it today. So, little happy birthday action going on over there. Episode 87, I'm your host, Joshua Scott. Thanks so much for being here. This month's topic, we are talking about all things personal branding. And so the title of the topic this month is You Inc. or You Incorporated. And getting into this whole personal brand space, mostly because I'm having so many conversations about it. That, and man, I just think in dentistry right now, the personal brand space is wide open. I mean, I really think it is. We're seeing this happen all over the country and on social media. I mean, real estate agents and sports figures and all these other industries where personal brands are huge. I think dentistry, it's just starting. And so the next 10 years are gonna be wide open. And so I wanna take a moment and stop and start talking about this. You as a dentist, how you can leverage your personal brand. I know people from other industries are watching this as well. Help give you a little bit of a roadmap as to how I do it, what it looks like, and maybe some keys to just get you to launch and start on that process. So let's get into first, before we talk about what I do and the plan there, but let me give you a few reasons why personal brands, right? And the first one is that people buy from people. And I completely believe this. It was interesting when we started this whole deal, Studio 88, and we had this conversation about, do we just become another dental marketing company that's out there, right? And it just seemed like there was a lot of noise, and we could have made ourselves like, I don't know, amazingdentalmarketing.com, or something like that, and gone that route. Everybody does that, but just feel like that space, there's just a lot of noise in it. And so what we decided was to back up and instead leverage joshuascott.com. The whole fact of like people buy from people, right? And my reputation, my integrity, what I had built in the dental industry for 12 years, leverage that, create relationships, leverage expertise, and launch. And so it's been a great decision on our end. So that was number one. Number two, it's all about connection. It's just all about connecting with people out there. The minute you can connect with them, the minute you make their buying decision easier. And so as a dentist, you've got the practice's Facebook page and social media accounts, but you've also got your own. And if you can leverage that personally and begin to connect with people, you just rescued a Labradoodle and somebody else, a patient, is like, oh my gosh, we're just starting the rescue process. And so you connect there. Those types of things, you'd be surprised how many patients will start showing up when you can begin to connect with them outside of the dental practice, okay? And then last, it's all about equity. It's all about equity, but it's different in the way you probably think about equity. We're not talking about ownership in a company or even real estate. What we're talking about is mental equity, owning space in people's heads, what they think, what they believe. And right now, I think in dentistry, the personal brand space, it's almost like Malibu in the 20s or 30s, right? Like Malibu was a sparse little Spanish settlement up until that point. But in the late 20s, early 30s, developers came in for the first time, saw the huge potential of that land and that real estate and what they could do with it, and turned it into what we know today as modern day Malibu. Can you still buy property there? Yeah. Are you gonna get that return on it like you would have back then? No way. And so I think that's dentistry right now. It's so wide open that those who are gonna get into it in the next 10 years, that create the most content, spend the most money in it, spend the most attention in it, are gonna be the ones that build the biggest brands. So let me get into some actionable steps as to how I create content on a monthly basis.
You're gonna make it look like comic book. Make it look like comic book.
I wasn't really going for comic book, but.
No.
What?
Let me see that red one.
Is that better?
So much better.
Okay, hold on, just one more. This one's.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
All right, so as we jump into this, obviously, man, there's a lot of different ways to create a personal brand and go about doing it. What I'm trying to focus on here is if I were a dentist and over the next 5 to 10 years, you really wanted to make a space for yourself as a personal brand. Maybe it's an educator, it's a lecturer, maybe it's a course or something, a technology that you're developing. You want attention, you're trying to leverage that influence. Here's how I would do it, okay? Number one is create a content calendar. Create a content calendar. Everything comes back to this. I mean, really the question we're asking is on a monthly basis, what's the content you are gonna be creating, okay? Because that's what social media is about. That's what personal brands are about, is the expertise, the content, the education on a monthly basis. And so the way I look at it is we actually have a team, our team here, we look at a content calendar for the entire year. We've got all 12 months on there. We try to take a topic that we want to address each month, wrap it up into a package. So for example, we're here in April and we're talking about You Inc. We had specifically planned on talking about personal brands in April. And so that's the topic. We're gonna write an article about it and we're gonna film 2 podcasts along those lines. So start with a big picture macro calendar. So number 2 then is actually creating the content or writing it. And so it's sitting down, we're gonna write an article, we're gonna write 2 podcast episodes. Let me give you some quick tips for writing because this seems to be where most people get hung up, right? Like I wanna write something or I wanna produce an article or write a podcast, but like, how do I do it? Here's my advice is number 1, write an outline. Write an outline. For me, it's real simple. It's introduction, 2 to 5 points that are gonna make up the middle, like what are I want those points to be, and then a close, and that's it. And so for me, as I'm thinking through it's just write the outline. That's literally step number 1 in my to-do list is write April's outline, okay? So that takes the pressure off, which I think is huge, okay? All you gotta do is create that outline. I also try to block a chunk of time. So I need a 2 or 3 hour block where I can just sit down and write. A lot of times that happens on airplanes, and for whatever reason, it's just a creative time and it's easy for me to focus, probably because there's nothing else going on around me. And then to continue taking the pressure off, just realize that the first draft of anything is just crap. You know, Hemingway said it almost exactly like that. The first draft of anything he creates was crap. So take that pressure off yourself, just dump. Just dump into that outline, that intro, those 2 to 5 points and that close, and just get it onto paper. And then last, I have a whole separate step for final edits. I'm gonna read it fast, so I work on the flow, how the paragraphs are flowing, the thoughts flowing, and I'm also gonna send it to my team. And they get in, they make edits, they leave comments right there, so I can go back and look at it just to get some fresh eyes on it and ask the question, does this make sense, right? Because sometimes you just dump and then you're like, I don't know. But if you get other people to look at it, then it makes sense, you move forward. Okay, so that's point number 2. And then number 3 is promote the content. When I get done with articles, I am going to publish that on Medium. I just like the platform. I think it's the best user experience out there. I'm also gonna post it natively to Facebook, to LinkedIn, because they just perform better there. When we get done with the podcast, the video version is gonna go up on YouTube. I'm also gonna post that to Facebook again natively, because Facebook, man, if you post a video there, they like that better than linking to YouTube. The audio version is gonna go to iTunes. We actually upload it to a service called Libsyn, which is gonna send it to iTunes and Stitcher. And then last, throughout this entire month, the month of April, you're gonna see little micro graphics, quotes, and filming pieces, and behind the scenes, and all these kind of micro content that pushes attention back to the subject, brings it back to the article, and just keeps educating along that topic all month long. And I think that's the key, right? Don't just push content once and get one-time use out of it. Figure out how to keep it coming back to it and keeping it in front of people that entire month. And that will help give you a really good plan to starting your personal brand. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here for episode 87. Hopefully if you're interested in the whole personal brand space, this has given you some tips, some things to work with, helping you maybe launch that. Just go do it, right? The other side is, man, there's so many different ways to approach personal brands. I would actually love to hear what you're doing. So that's the question of the episode. How are you building your personal brand? Would love to hear that. Leave that in the comments below. This month's article, You Inc., that link is down below in the show notes as well. Best place to follow me, at Instagram, at Joshua Scott. Shoot me a message over there. Would love to hear from you. And yeah, I think that's it. Guys, thanks so much for being here. I will catch you on the next episode.